Hello and welcome to sunny Oxford, Ohio for this conference matchup between the Miami RedHawks and the Kent State Golden Flashes. Hi, I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. Let's take you through the starting lineup for the Golden Flashes. Leading off and playing third base will be Kyle Jackson. Batting in the 2-0 and playing center field will be Colin Matthews. Justin Minkus will be behind the dish. He's batting third. Aiden Longwell will be cleaning up, playing first base. Michael McNamara will be the shortstop. He's in the 5-hole. Mac Timbrook will be at second base. He's batting 6th. Josh Johnson will be out in left field, batting 7th. Brody Williams will be the designated hitter. He's in the 8-hole. And Jake Casey will be anchoring the lineup. He's playing right field. On the bump for the Miami RedHawks is their ace, Connor Oliver. Oliver, a junior, has a 3.42 ERA this season, a 1-4 win-loss, a whip of 1.38. He has struck out 73 batters, has only walked 26. We're moments away from first pitch here on Love and Honor Live. Thank you for tuning in. Miami 11-27 on this season. They'll be facing off against Kent State, who is 26-10. Kent State at the top of the Mid-American Conference, so Miami looking to play spoiler. As Connor Oliver has thrown his final warm-up pitches, these Golden Flashes can straight up swing it. They're batting .307 as a team this season. And we are just moments away. Out in the field for Miami, we'll go ahead and take you through how their defensive alignment sets up. David Novak will be in the battery with Connor Oliver. Over on the right side of the infield will be Rylan Zaborowski and Dylan Baker playing second. Evan Applewick will be playing third. Cooper Weiss at his normal position out at shortstop. Out in the pasture, Brian Zapp, Zach McDonald, and Benji Brokman from left to right. We've got a lefty-lefty matchup to begin things here today. It's Kyle Jackson. First pitch fouled over towards the first base dugout. Time of first pitch, 12:02. Of course, yesterday's Friday matchup got pushed back to today because of the onslaught of rain that we suffered here in southwestern Ohio, as a check swing from Jackson is checked down the third base line. Morton Jr., the third base umpire, says no, he did not go. 1-1's the count. The umpires today behind the dish will be John Sapphire. Down the first base line will be Matt Cunningham. Daryl Morton Jr., as we just mentioned, down the third base line. And checking down towards Morton Jr. again, says Jackson held off. Jackson coming in batting .263. Takes it for a called strike two. Connor Oliver has tied it up. Jackson, a junior from Bowling Green, Ohio. So didn't go to the hometown school in the Mid-American Conference. Instead, went to the Golden Flashes as he takes a called strike three, and Connor Oliver starts things on a roll. Thank you for tuning in. We have a slew of games here on Love and Honor Live this weekend, both baseball and softball at home here in Oxford. So be sure to tune in to the softball broadcast at 1 p.m. Showing bunt and stepping in the box will be Colin Matthews. Takes it for a called strike as Connor Oliver gets ahead. Matthews batting .333 on the season, as he chases a pitch that runs away from him. Change up, sitting there, and got Matthews to chase. Found straight back. We'll stay right here at 0-2. Matthews, a graduate student from Lewis Center, Ohio, went to Olentangy. And Oliver, back-to-back Ks to begin the top half of the first inning.
Number catcher, number 6, Justin McNess.
54 degrees here at first pitch, here in the first inning, I should say. A little bit of wind, 17 miles an hour, running from the left field foul pole to the right field foul pole. Mickness steps in, takes a first pitch strike, and hacks at the 0-1, fouls it over the third base dugout. Mickness, a .324 hitter. He's left the yard 5 times this year. Lefty on lefty matchup, and Connor Oliver's cruising as he's ahead 0-2. The offering. Chopped towards the first base line. Rylan Zaborowski right there, gloves it, steps on first. And that's a breezy top half of the first inning as Connor Oliver brushes off his right shoulder as he went 1, 2, 3. We head to the bottom half of the first inning here on Love and Honor Live. Welcome back to McKee Field here at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live. And Ben Cruikshank is getting ready for the Golden Flashes. Let's take you through the RedHawks starting lineup. Batting leadoff and in right field will be Benji Brokman. Cooper Weiss will be batting in the 2-hole. He's playing shortstop. David Novak catching. He's batting third. Nate Stone will be in the cleanup spot today. He's the designated hitter. Rylan Zaborowski batting fifth. He's playing first base as he concluded the top half of the first inning. Brian Zapp out in left field. Zach McDonald in center, and he's on a bit of a struggle. Dylan Baker will be playing second base. He's batting eighth. Evan Applewick will be anchoring the lineup. He's at the third. So Benji Brokman steps in. Facing off against Cruikshank. First pitch take on the outside. Brokman comes in as a .295 hitter. He gets on base about 40% of the time. Cruikshank has been fantastic this season. .296 ERA, a win-loss of 5-0, a whip of 1.34. He has struck out 57 batters in 48 innings and has only walked 34 batters. Now, that is one bugaboo of his. He's not afraid to walk a batter here and there as he falls behind 3-0. Walking 34 batters in 48 innings. Much different than the southpaw that Miami deploys in Connor Oliver, who is consistently in the strike zone. Cruikshank with that uneven delivery. Finds the strike zone. Brokman has to retrieve his bat as he thought it was ball 4. If Brokman does get on base, he's second on the team in stolen bases this year. He's hacking at the 3-1, fouls it straight back. 87 on the gun from Cruikshank. Cruikshank with just such an uneasy delivery from the south side, from the left side. Big leg kick, slow delivery, and Brokman sends one out to center field. That's our first base hit of the ball game. Brokman goes over the 300 line with the base knock right there. And it'll bring up Cooper Weiss.
Shortstop number 12, Cooper Weiss.
Last time out for Cruikshank, he went 7 innings strong against Akron, struck out 6 batters, allowed 5 hits and 2 walks. Weiss, one of the power threats in this Miami lineup. Second on the team in home runs with 9. First pitch swing and sends one out to deep right center field. Giving chase is Matthews and Casey. Is that ball gone? It is! in the pine tree out in right center field, caught up in the jet stream of the wind and kept blowing out for a 2-run shot. Oppo Taco for Cooper Weiss. And Miami on the board first. We mentioned Cooper Weiss, the power threat, second on the team in home runs. Before that swing, he was tied with Zach McDonald. Double digits now, his 10th big fly of the year, now only trailing Rylan Zaborowski, who leads the league. In steps the catcher, David Novak, and what a turnaround he's had this year as he offers at the fastball from Cruikshank, out in front of it 0-1. Novak has his batting average up to 278, and that's a far cry from where he was to begin the year. Change up in the dirt, doesn't get Novak to chase. Cruikshank, high stirrup socks, toes the rubber right in the middle. When he comes set, his right foot, his planting foot, actually points towards the second baseman, Timbrook. Out in the right center field direction as Novak waves over the 1-1 changeup. Three consecutive change pieces from Cruikshank. Novak takes that one to make it 2-2. See if he comes back with the heat. Field playing straight up. Fouled over towards the first base dugout, and we'll do it again here at 2-2. Not a huge crowd here today. A little bit chillier than we've had as of late. Temperatures in the mid-70s up to 80, and today it's right around the 50. But the sun is shining. Sparse clouds in the sky as Cruikshank goes back to the well. Obviously favors that changeup against a right-handed swinging Novak, but he misses the zone once again. The count is full. The payoff pitch. Goes with the heat. Novak can't catch up in the zone, but the 3-hole couldn't catch up to the heat after consecutive changeups. The change of speed's too much, and that's the first out here in the bottom half of the first inning. So we'll see Nate Stone. Nate Stone hasn't been an everyday player. Unique to see him here in the cleanup spot, but that's because he had a great game earlier this week against Ohio State. 1 for 3 with a triple. Scored 3 times in that game against the Buckeyes. Now on the season, the left-handed swinging designated hitter is only batting 138. An OPS of 523, though he has left the yard. A lot of pop in the bat, and with the wind blowing out to right field, they like his chances to go deep, even with the lefty-lefty matchup, as Cruikshank misses on the 1-0. It's 2-0. Not the velocity that we're used to seeing these frontline starters possess here in the MAC. Cruikshank finds it with a 2-0 fastball over the heart of the plate. 87 on the gun. Him and Connor Oliver top out right at 90. Most arms hit over that 90 velocity parameter. But it's their 3-pitch mix, which keeps hitters on their toes, as Cruikshank is struggling to find the zone here to begin the ballgame. 3-1. The kick and deal. Stone takes for ball 4, and Stone will be on first base.
That brings up the first baseman.
His 13th walk in 59 plate appearances this season. So put a runner on first for Rylan Zaborowski, and Zabo has had a season to remember. 287 hitter, 14 home runs, his OPS over 1 this year. 36 RBIs, was good for the lead until Cooper Weiss left the yard earlier this inning. Zaborowski, a redshirt sophomore from Gilbert, Arizona. had a grand slam against the Buckeyes in the midweek action. 2 for 5 in that game, scored twice, and we mentioned the 4 RBIs. As the changeup works away from the tall first baseman. Started out the year as a third baseman, but with Parker Lester out of the lineup for some time, they've moved him over to first, letting Evan Applewick patrol the hot corner. And Parker Lester has been a missed piece of the lineup. He leads the team in hitting. They missed that bat. As once again, the changeup can't find the zone. And you can tell that's Crookshank's out pitch. He just can't get control of it here in the early going. Miami in the red pinstripe, white jerseys, very sharp uniforms here in Oxford. Something about that vibrant red that just pops. Kent State in grays with gold and navy blue trim as Crookshank walks back-to-back batters to put runners on first and second for Brian Zapp.
It's the left fielder, number 6, Brian Zapp.
Brian Zapp getting the start against the left-handed pitcher. Now, at the beginning of this season, this would have been an opportunity for the graduate student and captain Stephen Krause to be in the lineup. Not today. They like the lefty on lefty. Runners on first and second, 1 away. Called strike in there, fastball. Nice spot up and in. We'll take you through Kent State's defensive alignment momentarily. Chopped weakly out to Timbrook at second. The relay over to second and over to first. 4 to 6 to 3 double play. Timbrook, McNamara, and Longwell completing. But not before the RedHawks take the lead thanks to the home run from Cooper Weiss. We head to the second inning. 2-0 our score here on Love and Honor Live. Two nothing our score here at McGee Field at Hayden Park. Reed Mouse on the call. Thank you for joining along. If you're new to Chatterbox Sports, go ahead and subscribe, like the stream. It helps reach a bigger audience. Feel free to comment. Let us know how we're doing. Let us know who you're rooting for. More comments. Yeah. So Connor Oliver back out on the bump for the RedHawks. A breezy top half of the first inning. 2 strikeouts and a weak ground out. He'll face 4, 5, and 6. Aiden Longwell due up for the Golden Flashes. A lefty-on-lefty matchup as the 85-mile-an-hour fastball misses on the outside. Longwell hacking at the 1-0. And that's what Connor Oliver does. He elicits so many swings because he's just so consistently in the zone. The field typically plays better behind him because they are more into the game. It moves along a lot quicker as Longwell's way out in front of that 1-1 and fouls it off his front ankle. Longwell leads the team in hitting, 434, 63 hits, and 145 at-bats this season. And make it 64 as he singles out to center field. the junior from Massillon Washington High School,
The Kent State shortstop.
gets the
Number
Golden
38,
Flashes working.
Michael McNamara.
And you look at his game log, and his 2 previous games, Longwell went 7 for 9. So swinging a hot stick, as we'll see Michael McNamara. McNamara in the right-handed batter's box keeps his hands right at his armpits. Nice play by Evan Applewick, who's sliding on the turf, works to his left and throws across the diamond where his only play was at first for a 5-3 putout.
The second baseman, number 17, Mac Timbrook.
Mac Timbrook steps in. Timbrook, a senior from Kent, Ohio, didn't have to travel too far to play for the Golden Flashes. Graduate from Archbishop Hoban High School, have won many state titles in the previous few years, including on the baseball diamond, but that was after Timbrook graduated. The 0-1. Chopped out to second base. Dylan Baker's going to have to go a long way. Pirouettes around and delivers a strike to Rylan Zaborowski. What a play by Dylan Baker. Baker, a drop step into the 4-hole.
Johnson.
Fielded it cleanly on the second bounce out in shallow right field. Only play, instead of squaring up his throws, was to keep the momentum rolling. 180 around and a nice strike to Zaborowski for the second out. So 2 away and a runner 90 feet away as Josh Johnson steps to the plate. Johnson, his 36th start on the season. He has 19 RBIs, a .301 hitter. The native of Gibsonian, Pennsylvania, takes the 1-0 for a called strike. 84 on the gun. Oliver kicks, deals, rides up high, try to put a little something extra on that fastball. Couldn't get on top of it. We'll tell you more about Connor Oliver next inning, but he has had a journey to get to Miami. The 2-1 to Johnson. Another fastball just misses, so says Sapphire. The 3-1, good hitters count. Check swing. Yes, he did go around, so says Cunningham. Our trackman actually said that was a called strike, and Oliver put 5 extra miles per hour on that pitch. 91 on the gun after sitting around 85. The payoff. See ya. Gas is up again, 92 on the gun. And Connor Oliver struts off the mound with his 3rd strikeout. The Golden Flashes leave a runner stranded. We head to the bottom of the second here on Love and Honor Live. Crookshank back out on the mound. He'll be facing the bottom half of the order. Zach McDonald, Dylan Baker, Evan Applewick. 2 up for Miami. 2-0 here in the bottom half of the second inning. Crookshank comes set. First pitch to McDonald. misses downstairs, and getting ahead in the counts is the starting center fielder for Miami. McDonald still batting .288. Called strike. McDonald, a true sophomore, has had a hit in each of his last 6 games and 9 of his previous 10. As he's out in front of that fastball, 1-2. Though he is just 2 for his last 11. Went 1 for 6 against Ohio State, 1 for 5 against OU in Game 3. Miami has had a season to forget for most of the year, but have been very competitive in each of the last 4 games. Went to Athens and took on OU. Walked away with 1 win, though they very easily could have swept that series. McDonald chases the changeup in the dirt. And a nice play from Mickness to make the throw on to first for the first out.
Second baseman, 21, Dylan Baker.
So Dylan Baker is due up, and we mentioned Golden Flash's defensive alignment. Mickness is in the battery with Cruikshank. Down the first base line will be Longwell, Tim Brook out at second. McNamara, the shortstop, Jackson at third base playing the hot corner, and out in the pasture, Johnson, Matthews, and Casey. Baker, a nice defensive play in the top half of the inning. As Cruikshank misses up. And that's the one thing about Miami. Their defense has come and gone in waves. Some days it has been sharp as any team in the league, and other days it's been a night on the diamond to forget. But when Connor Oliver takes the bump and throws plenty of strikes, they seem to be on their toes and make plays for their ace. So 2-1 here to Baker. Called strike in there on the gun, 89. Baker, a redshirt sophomore from Tampa, Florida. Two for 4 against Ohio State in the midweek. Line down the third base line, but foul, just curling. A few feet from extra bases. Speaking of which, 27 hits on the season. Baker with 9 extra base hits. 4 being home runs. Wind still blowing out to right center field. It's been shifting around, and that changeup is speaking a different language to these right-handed hitters at this point, as Cruikshank back-to-back strikeouts to begin the second.
It's the third baseman, number 16, Evan Applewick.
So from Madison, South Dakota, the third baseman, Evan Applewick, steps in. That's IMG Academy. So he's been around the country a time or two. Back to the changeup goes Cruikshank, misses down in the turf. Applewick, a transfer from Indiana University. The former Hoosier spent last summer in the Appalachian League, where he finished top 25 in walks, on-base percentage, and OPS. He actually led the Appalachian League in walks, and that's the real hallmark of his game. Only batting .226 on the year, but he has 31 walks, which leads the team. His on-base percentage, .391. And the third baseman takes the 3-0 for a called strike. Cruikshank looking for a 1-2-3 second inning as Applewick pops one foul. The payoff. Called strike 3 on the inside corner. And Cruikshank, after giving up 2 in the first inning, strikes out the side here in the second. We head to the third. 2-0 our score. 8-9-1, 2 up for Kent State. You see the Golden Flashes lineup. It's Brody Williams, Jake Casey. Then back to the top half of the order, and Kyle Jackson. 2-0 our score for the first 2 frames. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. McKee Field at Hayden Park is the venue for this, and the clouds have started to bring some cover from the sun, though it's not a warm day out here in southwestern Ohio. It is a sunny one. Oliver working quickly against Brody Williams and gets a swinging strike. Williams on the season. Batting .292, not been an everyday starter. The freshman from Kentucky is a listed catcher, designated hitter today, so getting the start in the lineup, but not in the field as Oliver's back-to-back misses of the strike zone bring the count to 2-1. So about Connor Oliver, he has had quite the journey through his collegiate career and has found a nice home here in Miami as he has really started to find his stride. The junior from Oak Forest, Illinois, spent his 2021 season at Wabash Valley College, where he had a 9-1 record, a 1.87 ERA, struck out 92 in 57 and 2/3 innings pitched. So very successful 2021 year. He parlayed that into a transfer into Texas Christian University. And for the Horned Frogs last year, he made 1 start through 11 innings, 9.82 ERA. So didn't work out for him down in Texas, finds his home now in Oxford, Ohio, where he has been very, very sharp. But walks the first batter of the inning here in the third and has put him in a little bit of a bind as he faces the 9-hole Jake Casey. Casey doesn't show any signs of bunting as the first pitch is taken for a called ball. Oliver just his 27th walk of the year in 50 innings pitched. The win-loss hasn't been there, but he has been very strong. In fact, through his first 5 starts, he struck out double-digit batters in 4 of those 5 starts. Once they got into MAC play, things have changed up a little bit. And we mentioned that Kent State not eliciting a bunt, but the check swing from Jake Casey down the first base line will work just as that, as Rylan Zaborowski fields it cleanly and puts the tag on Casey. So a runner on second base in the form of Brody Williams, and back to the top of the order we go.
At number 4, third baseman Kyle Jackson.
Jackson steps in. He struck out looking his first time. Lays down a bunt. Tough play for Connor Oliver. Fields his position cleanly, making that PFP look with an ease for the second out. So a leadoff walk, a check swing, and a bunt attempt has a runner on third base and 2 away for Colin Matthews.
Center fielder Colin Matthews.
Not an easy play for a left-handed pitcher, as you have to spin your body around and align your shoulders to first before getting out the speedy Kyle Jackson. But Oliver did that as his first pitch to Matthews misses in the dirt. He'll start behind the center fielder. Oliver coming set, kicks, deals, changeup's in there for a called strike. Waving on the cutter. Apologies to Connor Oliver, talking about his velocity earlier in the ball game. Said he was sitting right around 85. That's his cutter, which he throws a lot of times in on the right-handed hitter's hands, as he did right there to Colin Matthews, and sometimes to get away from a left-handed swinger. So he mixes between that 85-mile-an-hour cutter and the 90-mile-an-hour fastball on top of his other 2-pitch mix of a curveball and a changeup. 1-2 ahead of Colin Matthews. Fastball rides up and in, backing Colin Matthews off the plate. Matthews, 33 RBIs on the season, second on the team. Looking for number 34. And he'll go down on the breaking ball from Connor Oliver. A strikeout, and once again, Kent State leaves a runner stranded on third base for the second consecutive inning. We head to the bottom half of the third. Miami's still on top 2-0. Bottom of the third here in Oxford, Ohio. Due up for the RedHawks is the top half of the order. Benji Brokman, Cooper Weiss, both of which scored back in the first inning. Miami on top of the Golden Flashes here in Game 1. Game 2 will start immediately after Game 1, about 30 minutes. I mentioned typically they play a game each day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but because of the rain, they had to push everything back. And Game 3 will conclude tomorrow in about 20 minutes. The softball team will get started as they face off against the Akron Zips. So both Miami teams playing against northeastern Ohio opponents in the MAC. Brokman singled out to center field his first time. Crookshank has kind of found his stride, striking out the side in order back in the second inning. Brokman pops one over the first base dugout. We'll do it at 1-2. Crookshank. 4 consecutive strikeouts. And the southpaw has really started to find his stride. Two swinging, two looking. Both swinging, chasing on that changeup pitch that works away. And we saw that kind of unfold right before our eyes as Cruikshank in the first inning couldn't find that changeup back into the zone. Had to really rein it in, and you could tell that was his out pitch. And now he's got it working, and he's looking to just dice up the RedHawks starting lineup. Cooper Weiss, who diced up Cruikshank his last time, sent a big fly over the right center field wall. That home run traveled 402 feet. Didn't look like it had the distance off the bat, but got up in the jet stream and just kept blowing out. As Cruikshank falls behind the starting shortstop, 3-0. According to one of our viewers, Cooper's mom actually is a graduate of Kent State. So Cooper's showing no love to the legacy school. 3-1's the count. Swinging strike as he can't catch up to the heat. Cruikshank shakes off no before giving a yes. And misses in the turf. McNiss and Cruikshank had worked in unison, and that's the first base runner to reach a board since the first inning. Breaks the 4 strikeout streak, and David Novak steps to the plate. He went down on strikes his first time. Third walk of the ball game for Cruikshank. Up the middle for a base knock, and Novak with the third hit of the ball game for Miami. First pitch swinging, the catcher gets all over Cruikshank.
Designated hitter, Thom.
Cruikshank last year had 13 appearances, 8 starts for the Golden Flashes. He actually led the league as hitters were only batting .185 against the Southpaw. Out and running, trying to swipe third base and sliding in safe is Cooper Weiss. Weiss got a good jump and moves up 90 feet. Weiss, his 7th stolen base this season. Before that attempt, he was 6 for 7. Cruikshank spent 2 years pitching at Missouri State before transferring to Kent. And Stone showing bunt, lays one down. Is going to move Cruikshank away from the pitcher's mound, and it looked like there was a deke out there in the form of David Novak trying to elicit a throw to second base to maybe try to move Cooper Weiss home. But instead, Cruikshank just gets the out at first. And the safety squeeze doesn't move anybody. So a 1-3 put out for the second out, and Rylan Zaborowski steps up. Cruikshank comes set. First offering to Zabo. Misses on the outside. Changeup misses in the dirt. Zaborowski second on the team in RBIs with 36, only trailing Cooper Weiss, who has 38. Tie up the team lead, but instead Cruikshank falls behind 3-0, and you got to think Ryland's going to have the green lights. The 3-0. A walk, 4-pitch walk to load the bases for Brian Zapp.
Number 6, the left fielder, Brian Zapp.
Zapp comes in, 3 home runs, 15 RBIs. The last time he drove a runner in was back on April 8th against Eastern Michigan. So it's been a few starts since he's been able to bring somebody home. Had 4 RBIs against Northern Illinois back on March 17th. The 1-0 misses the zone. And we talked about how Zaborowski might have the green light on 3-0. Here with 2-0 and Cruikshank struggling. You got to wonder if Zapp is taken all the way. Way up and in, and 3-0 in. Be careful as Kent State is 1 pitch away from walking in a run. Weiss on third, Novak out at second base, Rylan Zaborowski at first. Infield shifted a bit to the right, and the 3-0 finds the strike zone. And by shifted a bit to the right, Tim Brook, the second baseman, has his heels about 5 feet into right field. McNamara, the shortstop, shading over towards the middle of the diamond. Zapp out in front of the fastball that caught the middle of the plate. So the runners will be moving here on the 3-2 with 2 away. The payoff pitch, Cruikshank comes set, Zapp awaits. And that got a piece of Zapp. So even if it didn't, it would have been ball 4. Instead, it's a dead ball. And Miami adds on. It's now 3-0.
Coming to the plate now, number 19, center fielder, Zach McDonald.
So Cooper Weiss scores for the second time in the ball game. Zaborowski moves up to second, Novak to third, and Zapp now at first. And there will be a long walk out to the pitcher's mound in a talk with Cruikshank. No one's up and warming. So it's Cruikshank's batters to face. Just want to rein home the southpaw. He was cruising after giving up a single and a home run to begin the game. He got a double play to conclude the first inning and then struck out 4 consecutive batters. A walk, a base hit, a bunt attempt, a walk, and a hit by pitch have us right where we're at. And we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, Cruikshank, if he has one bugaboo, it is finding the strike zone. So Zach McDonald steps in. Takes the first pitch he sees from Cruikshank. Looks down the third base line towards head coach Danny Hayden. No sign given. McDonald has some pop in that bat. 9 home runs on the year. The sophomore center fielder. Started out the year in the middle of the order, has bounced around. Beautiful RBI spot here in the bottom of the third inning. 2-0 the count. A wave at the 2-0. Couldn't fully commit to that pitch and missed the zone. And McDonald helps out Cruikshank. Bounced over towards the third baseman, and not coming up with a clean play is Kyle Jackson. Hit hard down the third base line. Jackson took 2 steps to his right took his eye off the ball for a split second and it hit off the end of his web. Because of the air, another run will be plated, and Miami's still threatening, and Crookshank could have got out of the inning with minimal damage. Instead, another run is scored, and we'll see Dylan Baker to the plate with the bases juiced. And Baker singles out to left field. One run will score. Rounding third, headed for home is Brian Zapp. The throw cut off. 6-0. Miami out in front here big time at McKee Field.
Now number 16, RedHawk third baseman Evan Applewick.
Four runs plated in the inning. Runners on second and first. 3 runs unearned for Crookshank here in the third, and any more that Miami tacks on will not be attributed to the starting pitcher. Evan Applewick struck out looking his first time. Very close 3-2 pitch. The 0-1 from Crookshank misses on the outside. The old adage here in baseball is walks will haunt, and of course, errors will as well. They seem to go hand in hand with big innings. And Miami has hung a crooked number here in the bottom half of the third. Kent State, who was coming into Oxford, top of the Mid-American Conference, and looking to host, now finds themselves down 6 runs at the onslaught of Game 1 against Miami. The 2-1 rides high and up. It's 3-1. The 3-1 to Evan Applewick. Fouled, out of play, out of the grandstand here at Hayden Park. Beautiful facility. Got turf in the last decade. I think it was 2017. Even before the turf, it was still a great place to catch a ball game. The payoff pitch with the runners running is hit off the end of Applewick's bat, just staying alive. The payoff pitch once again. Applewick skies one out into shallow center field. Matthews coming in, calls off the other fielders, and is underneath it for the third and final out. So 4 runs are plated here in the bottom half of the third, thanks in part to the 2-run single from Dylan Baker. 6-0 our score. We head to the fourth.
For the Golden Flashes, it's
Top of the
number
fourth
6,
here
catcher
in
Justin
Oxford, Ohio.
McNeese.
Thank you for joining back in. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Chatterbox Sports. It looks like the Akron Zips and Miami RedHawks over on the softball diamond are gearing up and going underway as we speak. So be sure to flip between this broadcast and that one if you're a Miami fan. 2 up for Kent State, 3-4-5 here in the fourth inning. And McNeese sends one out to left center field. Brian Zapp giving chase, being called off by Zach McDonald as it runs out of steam. Right around the 376 mark of the left center field gap and before the warning track. And right away, Connor Oliver has a quick out.
Longwell.
Breaking ball here to Aiden Longwell, who singled his last time. According to our TrackMan, caught a lot of the zone, but TrackMan's not behind home plate. It's John Sapphire who said that pitch missed, broke too late. And Longwell chases at the 1-0. The count is now 1-1. Over to Rylan Zaborowski, who tries to stab at it on the backhand. Longwell hit it too strong, and Zaborowski slips by. So a one-out base hit is what they'll call it.
Number 38, shortstop Michael McNamara.
And we'll see Secretary of State Michael McNamara. McNamara steps in, grounded out to Evan Applewick his last time as he takes the first pitch for a called strike. We mentioned Kent State leads the Mid-American Conference with a 12-3 conference record. They're 26-10 overall. They have an .800 winning percentage here in conference play. Ohio not too far behind at 13-5, and that's who Miami just challenged very competitively with last weekend. Went to extra innings in a game that they lost, won one game, and had the lead in another. So easily could have walked away with the series win or even a sweep, but instead dropped 2 of 3. Now they have a chance to play spoiler once again against the Golden Flashes and have a strong lead here midway through game 1. Miami currently in 8th place in the MAC. A 7-11 record, trailing Bowling Green by a half game. As McNamara fouls one back off the screen. We'll do it at 2-2 once again. Miami ahead of Eastern Michigan, Akron, and Northern Illinois. Though there's a triad of teams right around the middle, and that's Miami, Bowling Green, and Toledo. Miami with the worst overall record in the MAC, but that is in great part to the tough out-of-conference schedule they play. They played Indiana, Wright State, Xavier. A lot of Southwestern Ohio teams played Ohio State. They'll go to Purdue next week as the curveball misses up and will bring the count full. And in part is to do with their slow start that they had. Really didn't find their identity as a team till as of late, and they're trying to flourish here late in the season as Oliver elicits another swing that is fouled off the screen. Full count again. McNamara awaits the 3-2. And it's in the dirt. A base hit and a walk.
17.
Put runners on first and second with one away for Mac Timbrook. Timbrook leaves the first pitch up and out of the zone. The starter last year. In fact, in the 4-game series that they played against Miami, almost exactly 365 days ago, Timbrook had 8 hits in that series. He was 8 for 15. Looking to repeat that success. Fouled over towards the Jay Hayden Baseball Center down the third baseline. Foul tipped, and Novak can't hold on to it. So we'll do it once more at 1-2. Timbrook behind in the count. Oliver checks on Longwell out at second base. Fouled over the third base dugout once again. Kent State comes in right in a wave. 7 straight wins. And Oliver gets a swinging strikeout for out number 2. The cutter at the top of the zone. And Timbrook couldn't catch up.
Fielder, Josh Johnson.
Strikeout number 5 for Oliver in the ball game, but the work's not done as there are 2 on and 2 away for Josh Johnson. Johnson, a big presence in the right-handed batter's box, 6'2", 200 pounds. So I feel like that weight might be underdoing the strong frame of Johnson. Batting .301 on the season. 2 home runs, 19 RBIs. An OPS over 800. He's ahead in the count. And Oliver, after putting down Timbrook on strikes, misses the zone 3 consecutive times, and he's 1 miss away from loading the bases for Brody Williams. Johnson awaits the back of the right-handed batter's box, and Oliver finds the zone. Oh, no, he doesn't, says John Sapphire. No look at all. Cooper Weiss going to come in and talk to Oliver, as will Miami's pitching coach. So load the bases, and an inning after Miami puts 4 on the scoreboard, and this could be a huge inning for both teams. It's so important after hanging a crooked number and getting a 0, and vice versa. It's so important to answer back if you're Kent State. Now they're at the bottom half of their order. The bases are loaded, and you have Brody Williams, a freshman designated hitter, coming to the plate. Williams walked his first time around. The freshman from Eddyville, Kentucky. 6'1", 190. Had 2 hits in the midweek action for Kent State. They played a Division II opponent in Tiffin University. Swinging strike, and Oliver gets ahead of Williams. Biggest at-bat of the game thus far for Kent State. And Williams goes down 0-2. Back-to-back cutters that Williams swings over top of. And now Oliver already on the rubber, ready to rock and roll. He comes set after getting the sign from Novak. Here's the 0-2. Another cutter, and Applewick moves to his right. Looks like he was frozen by the stinger from Williams, and it's going to be an error, which will bring home Kent State's first run of the ball game. Applewick looked like his feet got tied up. Normally a strong glove over there on the hot corner. Just lost his footing. Wasn't ready for the ball, and now Kent State plates a run and still threatening as they go to Jake Casey, who's first pitch swinging. First official error of the game for Miami, though you could make a strong argument that Ryland Zaborowski play at the top of the inning could count as well. Curveball finds the zone. Oliver went 3 straight breaking balls to Brody Williams. Off the end of the bat, going to be a tough play. Squibbed out to Dylan Baker. The glove flip goes past Cooper Weiss. Only play was at second base as the speedy Jake Casey was bustling down the first base line. Baker gloves it cleanly and flips it with the mitt, and Cooper Weiss can't catch it cleanly. So back-to-back errors, plate 2 runs, and now the tying runs at the plate in the form of Kyle Jackson. And if you remember the top half of the order, or the top half of the inning rather, Kyle Jackson made an error in the field which allowed 2 runs to score for Miami. So a chance to make up for that play. Longwell and McNamara have already scored at 6-2, and Connor Oliver is looking to get it done himself as he knots up the count at 1-1. The 2-1. Swing and strike. Jackson out in front of it. He's 0 for 2 on the day. Struck out looking and grounded out. Trying to lay down a bunt his last time. 2-2 with the bases juiced. Oliver kicks, steals, chopped, foul. We'll do it again. Swing and strike. Oliver gets it done himself after back-to-back errors allowed 2 runs to score. We head to the bottom half of the 4th. Kent State answers back. It's 6-2. Welcome back. Bottom of the 4th here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. We've had an interesting game to this point. About an hour and 8 minutes into this one. And we're at the midway point. I guess we're not quite there yet. We'll be midway through the 5th inning. Benji Brokemond, then Cooper Weiss and David Novak. Top of the order facing off. And it's Cruikshank back on the rubber for Kent State. Brokman, I think, thought twice about trying to stab at that bunt, that pitch, that curveball. Still came up empty. Brokman 1 for 2, struck out swinging his last time. Got things going in the third inning with that strikeout, and then, of course, Miami plated 4 runs, so the second consecutive inning in which Brokman has come up. Went down on the changeup his last time. Let's see if Cruikshank comes back with that pitch. He does. Misses in the turf. So Cruikshank, 3 earned runs given up thus far, 6 runs total. We've seen 5 unearned runs already in this ball game. Wind, which has shifted direction about 4 different times in this ball game. Now, at moments blowing out to center field and then simultaneously blowing out to right center. If you were here for pregame, you would have seen quite a few balls leave the yard. Setting up our equipment out in the outfield, had to usher in at least 10 baseballs back in the field of play. Helping out Miami as Cruikshank missed the zone once again. It's 3-2. The payoff pitch misses up. And the 4th inning, showing shades of what we saw back in the 3rd. A walk begins things. Cooper Weiss, who has already put in a day that you could close the book on and it'd be successful. A home run back in the 1st inning. He walked last time. He has scored twice, but with plenty of room to add on. Cruikshank, nice move over to first base. You see those lefties. They got to be careful of that 45-degree angle so they don't get called for a balk. He stepped midway down the mound. If you can time up the jump against Cruikshank, you'd have a lot of room to go because he is slow to the plate. A pause right as he separates to let his arm catch up and get on top of that changeup that he favors so frequently. But it's got to be tough to read where Cruikshank's going to go because, as we mentioned, his front leg starts out pointed towards the second baseman. So he pigeon toes himself before pushing home. And you see it, that slight pause as he separates. If Brokman can time that properly, would give him plenty of time to get a good jump. But it's just so difficult to decipher if Cruikshank's coming home or if he's going over towards first base. So 2-1 count. Brokman up and running, high pitch, good throw from Mickness. But Brokman slides into second safe. When you're behind the dish and you see a runner moving, you want something up at the top of the zone because you're already in the crouch, already can position your shoulders to make a strike onto second base. That's what Mickness did, but Brokman just too quick as he swipes second. 3-1. In there for a called strike. Now, worth noting, you saw Benji Brokman touch his bill before the last pitch. Got to keep your eyes on runners out at second base to see if they got a sign. And Brokman's caught dead red as the spin move from Crookshank gets Benji Brokman out between second and third. And now Brokman is going to be tagged out. And it looks like there might have been some comments said between Brokman and the infielder from Kent State as Coach Danny Hayden left the coach's box and got in front of Brokman to make sure that there was no physical contact. And now we'll see a meeting of the minds between John Sapphire, Matt Cunningham, and Daryl Morton Jr. A very quick kerfuffle. As you really just looked like a thing was said between the two teams. Coach Hayden doesn't appear to be anything between the two coaches, and there'll be a warning issued to both teams. Coach Danny Hayden okay with that. Jeff Duncan coming out of the dugout to ask, what did we do? Now, we don't have ears everywhere on the field, so we have no idea what was said between the two teams. But it has brought this game to a screaming halt in the past couple minutes. So the count is full. Cooper Weiss still at the plate. And where Miami had a runner in scoring position with the teeth of their lineup due up, Benji Brokman caught dead red after stealing second, is caught stealing between second and third. So the payoff pitch to Weiss is a changeup, and Weiss swings over top of it.
RedHawk catcher, David Novak.
So David Novak steps in with nobody aboard, and it looked like Miami might scratch a run across here in the bottom half of the fourth inning, but a caught stealing and a quick strikeout over Cooper Weiss has two on the outboard. And we'll see Novak, who's 1 for 2. Singled, came around and scored last inning. The All-MAC selection a season ago. A sophomore from Zionsville, Indiana. And the first team All-MAC honoree in 2022. Only played in 27 games, started 22. Now, he did hit 370, 7 home runs, 24 RBIs. Was an honoree as the designated hitter. Skies one into right center field. Tim Brooks underneath it, setting up camp, working back. And he'll put the squeeze on for the third and final out. So a quick inning here in the bottom half of the fourth. We head to the fifth, 6-2.
Who's the Miami Heritage Award Program.
Top of the fifth. 6-2 our score. Quick recap. Miami played in 2 runs back in the first inning on the home run from Cooper Weiss. They scored 4 in the bottom half of the third from a myriad of players. Then Kent State answered back with 2 in the top half of the fourth, both unearned. Connor Oliver still out on the rubber for Miami, and it looks like we're going to have an elongated break here as Novak, who surrendered the final out, is now just getting back onto the field. So, according to live statistics here, Connor Oliver is at 75 pitches, so it won't be an 8-inning game for Connor Oliver, as he's going to look to get through this 5th, maybe a 6th, before having to go to the bullpen. And it is worth mentioning that some of the more prominent arms in Miami's bullpen won't be available today. 2-3-4 due up for Kent State. And some of the names that you're used to hearing: Hudson Leach, most prominently, who's thrown 28 innings, won't be available for Miami. And this would be a premium spot for Leach. Leach, who has consistently had professional scouts come to watch him pitch. Mid-90s fastball, really good stuff. Makes you feel uncomfortable at the plate. 2-0 here to Matthews, as Matthews sends one down the third baseline. This is a base knock. He's rounding first, looking for second. The throw in from Zapp is relayed by Weiss to Dylan Baker, and Matthews slides in with a leadoff double. Matthews with his 11th double of the season.
The catcher, Justin McNiss,
has a runner in scoring position for Justin McNiss.
It's the same old. But hopefully next year he'll be at G.
McNiss shows bunt at the first pitch from Oliver that misses way up. McNiss perhaps destined to play well here in Oxford, as he's from Du Bois, Pennsylvania. Of course, the bookstore here in town, Du Bois. As the 1-0 finds the strike zone. Named to the all-defensive team as a catcher last year. He also played third base and was in the lineup as a pure hitter from time to time. 25 assists as a catcher last year. So he threw out 25 base runners. Chops one over to Dylan Baker, gets it on the second bounce, flips it over to Rylan Zaborowski for the first out, but Matthews moves up 90 feet and is at third. So 4-3 put out will bring up Aiden Longwell, who Miami has been unable to retire today. Longwell, the most feared hitter in this lineup. 2 for 2 already. He came in a blistering .434, and we mentioned it. 7 for his last 9 in the previous 2 ball games. Over his last 5 games played, he's had mark it 4 games with 3+ hits. Seeing the ball well. Out to left center field. McDonald's underneath it. Going to be a tough play at the plate. The throw in from McDonald won't be in time. And Longwell barrels a ball up to left center field. McDonald gets it for the second out, but Kent State gets a runner across on the sacrifice fly.
Shortstop, Michael McNamara.
So McNamara steps in. McNamara 0 for 1, walked his last time. And as I'm just perusing around Kent State's stat sheet and all at the recent performances of Aiden Longwell, we'll get to more of that next time he comes up. McNamara himself, a .292 hitter. Cleveland, Ohio, St. Ignatius grad. Comes in with a 7-game hitting streak. And he might have had his 8th consecutive game as he sends one out to left field, but Brian Zapp was right there, didn't have enough behind it. And Connor Oliver gets out of the 5th inning, but not before surrendering 1 run thanks to the leadoff double from Colin Matthews and a sacrifice fly from Aiden Longwell. Quick inning as we get to the midpoint of this ball game. We head to the bottom of the 5th, 6-3. You see the Miami lineup in front of you. 4, 5, 6, Nate Stone, Ryland Zaborowski, Brian Zapp. 2 up for the RedHawks. 6-3 our score. Crookshank back out for another inning of work. I mentioned Connor Oliver before. The top half of the inning was at pitch number 75. So couldn't go too deep into the game. Ben Crookshank, he's going to surpass triple digits here at this batter alone. So that was pitch number 98 to Nate Stone. Stone 0 for 1, walked his first trip up, then tried to sacrifice himself on the squeeze his last time. Was unsuccessful. So he's 0 for 1. 1-1 count here as Crookshank still working, and it's worth noting that there are Golden Flash players in their bullpen, but no one actively getting loose. Now, you can't say the same for Miami, as it looks like some pitchers are stretching out there in Miami's bullpen. So, called strike 3, and as it gets by, Mickness hits off of the home plate umpire Sapphire, and a throw over to first is in time. So Nate Stone goes down on strikes looking. And we'll see Ryland Zaborowski. Zaborowski has not registered yet. 0 for 0, 2 walks, came around and scored. If you look at the NCAA leaders in home runs, Ryland Zaborowski is not too far below the top. In fact, if you look at players, quote-unquote, below or above the Mason-Dixon line, as it's well noted that Southern schools typically dominate college baseball, just warm weather and more adherence to players who get to play year-round as opposed to the northern schools like Miami and Kent State. Zaborowski tied for the lead with Eric Roberts of Evansville at 14 home runs. And Zaborowski will take first base on the walk. Third walk of the game, scared of the right-handed hitter. And now there is a right-hander warming up for Kent State. Zapp, the left fielder, grounded into a double play his first time, was also hit by a pitch. He came around and scored back in the 3rd inning. I don't have a number on that right-handed pitcher down in Kent State's bullpen, but once we get it to you, we'll let you know who is getting loose. The 0-1 to Zapp. Finds the zone. Wind still blowing out to right center field. Breezy late April day. On the heels of a storm that was just a straight line through the Ohio-Indiana border. So towns like Oxford, Hamilton, and you go farther north, Van Wert, Salina got peppered by the rain, but towns east of I-75 didn't suffer too much. Brian Zapp with a single out to right center field, his first base hit of the ball game will put runners on first and second. Now for Zach McDonald.
Now the center fielder, Zach McDonald.
First pitch misses to McDonald. Cruikshank north of 100 pitches now. McDonald 0 for 2. He did bring home a run his last time as he reached a board on the air down the third base line. That could have been out number 3. Instead, it was run number 4 for Miami. And then 2 runs scored 1 batter later on the base hit from Dylan Baker. So Cruikshank comes set. First and second, 1 away, the 1-0. And McDonald can't see the spin out of the hand of Cruikshank as he waves over top of the changeup once again. Cruikshank with 7 strikeouts, 6 walks, and 6 hits. The 1-1 to the center fielder. Missing in the turf. Wind quieting down here on the 2-1. As now McDonald can't catch up to the fastball, so a heavy dose of a mix between fastball and changeup, and he's like to go to that changeup here with 2 strikes to a right-handed hitter. You saw him gripping the ball almost with his entire palm, almost insinuating that it might be coming here on this pitch, and it does. Cruikshank tipped his pitch. McDonald still couldn't get on his back foot and send that change up to right center field. Instead, it's a strikeout, and we'll see Dylan Baker. Dylan Baker, a hero back in the 3rd inning, 2 RBI single. Cruikshank, pitch number 115 in the ball game. Curveball. Came back to the zone. According to the TrackMan, should have missed on the outside. But a good comeback pitch. And now, after going to the breaking ball on pitch number 1, you can use pretty much anything on the 0-1. Goes to the changeup, doesn't get on top of it. Almost completely covered sky from the clouds. We saw the sun peek through certain points of today's ball game, but now overcast. The 0-1 runs inside. Backs Baker off the plate. Zaborowski out at second base. Zapp at first. A lot of speed on the paths. Zapp, who leads the team in stolen bases. Zaborowski, no slouch either. Ball in the gap, could score 2. But Baker waves over top of the 2-1 changeup. Big pitch here. Could be potentially the last batter that Cruikshank faces. 2-2. Runs that changeup on the outside. So now, full count, 3-2, 2 away, 2 runners on. Miami looking to pad their 6-3 lead. Zaborowski, Zapp running on the pitch. Infield playing straight up, the outfield playing at normal depth. The 3-2 misses the zone entirely, and we'll see another batter.
And brings to the plate, third baseman Evan Applewhite.
No walk out of the dugout yet. The top of the order on deck at Benji Brokemont, and it's Evan Applewhite. And here it is. The pace to the mounds from the Kent State coaching staff, and that'll be the end of the day for Ben Cruikshank. We'll see a new arm when we come back. We're going to step aside. Bases loaded, 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning here at McKee Field at Hayden Park. I'm Reed Mouse. You're watching Love and Honor live here on Chatterbox Sports. If you haven't already, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, like the stream. If you want to know when we're going to go live, hit that notification bell. We'll let you know when Game 2 and Game 3, and of course the softball games that are going on as well. Evan Applewhite steps to the plate. He'll be facing off against Benny Roebuck. Roebuck, a 4.30 ERA, a junior from Flower Mound, Texas. This will be his 12th appearance on this season. 23 innings pitched, 24 strikeouts, 14 walks. So Applewhite facing off against the right-hander. Big looping curveball at 70 miles an hour. The book on Roebuck is a 4-pitch mix, 88 to 92. Saw him really, seemed like in his warm-up pitches, trying to kick into gear. Lackadaisical out there, but trying to get that arm loose as he goes back to the 70-mile-an-hour bender. Even though it's a slow off-speed pitch, it breaks late. As you saw Applewhite just waving at the 0-1, trying to get a piece. Applewhite 0 for 2 already on the day. Struck out his first at-bat, flew out to center field. Big AB here for Applewhite. Goes to the slider here. So curveball, curveball, slider. Have not seen the straight pitch yet from Roebuck. Applewhite with 26 hits on the season and 115 at-bats coming into today. 2 home runs, 15 RBIs. And there's some beautiful run batted in opportunity in the form of Brian Rylan Zaborowski in scoring position. The 1-2's a fastball, 91 on the gun, beat out to the shortstop, McNamara, who fields it cleanly, throws it across the diamond to Longwell for the 3rd and final out. So Benny Roebuck comes out of the pen and gets the job done. We head to the 6th inning here on Love and Honor Live. the line score in front of you. 6-3, Miami has a lead. They have 5 hits, have committed 2 errors. Kent State with 3 runs on 3 hits. They've committed 1 error. Both of those errors have succumbed to runs. You can close the book on Ben Cruikshank. 4 2/3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 6 walks, 8 strikeouts, 3 earned runs, 6 runs given up. He's currently in line for the loss. Due up for Kent State here in the 6th inning will be Mac Timbrook, Josh Johnson, and Brody Williams. So Oliver back out for another inning of work. Has looked strong throughout the course of this one, has been efficient. That was pitch number 86 here in the 6th inning, so he's looking to get through this inning. The 7th inning has really been where you've seen Connor Oliver's leash get real short this season. He's gone out there to try and complete the 7th inning multiple times, has been unsuccessful. His longest outing of the season came against Western Michigan, where he went 6 2/3. Has gone at least 5 innings in every single outing this year, except for his debut against Georgia Tech. And he'll go 5 1/3 here as the strikeout and the 2-3 putout will put down Mac Timbrook.
Left fielder, Josh Johnson.
Oliver now with 7 Ks on the day. Has had 7 strikeouts in 3 of his last 4 starts. Josh Johnson shows bunt, pulls it back. It's called strike, so says John Sapphire. Oh, 2 finds the zone. Chopped out to Cooper Weiss, who comes up on the run, throws across the diamond for the 2nd out. And you saw the thought process there from Cooper Weiss. It looked as though he moved to his right, was going to sit on his heels. Then the ball started slowing down as it got to him. He then had to get on a run and throw across the diamond to beat out the fleet-footed Josh Johnson for the 2nd out.
Brody Williams.
Brody Williams, the designated hitter, steps in as Oliver comes set and gets right after Brody Williams, missing. Williams has been unable to be retired today. Walked his first trip up, then grounded over to Evan Applewick, which was an error, and scored a run. Back in that 4th inning when Kent State scored 2 runs on back-to-back errors on the infield. So Oliver, though 3 runs given up, has just had 1 that can be tacked to his earned run average. Oliver comes set on the 2-1. Swinging strike. Not the count up at 2s. .93 pitches coming into this at-bat for Oliver. Looking to stay under the century mark in this inning. The 2-2. Out to right field, Benji Brokman, who was playing deep, comes in on a slide and will make the catch for the 3rd out. No, he won't. I'm not sure what happened here, as it looked like he didn't catch it cleanly all the way from the press box. The first base umpire, Matt Cunningham, had a much closer look at the play, and it looks as though Brody Williams is going to stay with his feet planted firmly on first base. No Kent State Golden Flashes are going to take the diamond. Benji Brokman, who is playing deep out to right field with the wind blowing out that way, comes in and catches the ball on the line. And Cunningham and Jeff Duncan, the head coach for the Golden Flashes, will have a discussion. And now Daryl Morton Jr. and John Sapphire will have a talk. I can't see either one of them having a better look at this play than Matt Cunningham. And I'll be honest, here from the press box, I didn't see what happened quite whatsoever. It looked as though Benji Brokman just came in and made a sliding play. Jeff Duncan is losing his mind. Worth mentioning that Kent State already had a warning from that play that happened a few innings ago. But they reaffirm the ounce and will head to the bottom half of the sixth. It's 6-3 here on Love It Honor Live. Bottom of the sixth inning here at McKee Field, and stepping into the batter's box is the man at the center of all the controversy, Benji Brokman. So it looked as though he lost control of the ball when he went to throw it into the infield, and head coach Jeff Duncan of the Golden Flashes thought he dropped the ball entirely, but umpires reaffirmed there was more of a discussion after we went to break, but Duncan remains in the dugout. They did not throw him out of the game as Benji Brokman throws one out to left field for his second base hit of the ball game. So Benny Roebuck still on the rubber for Kent State. Cooper Weiss already left the yard today. Brokman has done a nice job as a leadoff hitter every time he's come up to the plate. In his 4 trips, he's reached base 3 times. He stole second his last time and then was caught out in no man's land between second and third. So that was back in the 4th inning. Cooper Weiss, who struck out in that inning, steps into the batter's box as he gets ahead 1-0. Brokman has that sliding glove. Which you never saw a decade ago in the game. It seemed like it was popularized by Cincinnati man Billy Hamilton. That was really the first time that I was exposed to the sliding glove, and you see it more and more prevalent at all levels of baseball. You go to a 10U baseball game and you see every base runner get on and use the sliding glove just to feel like they're heroes. But it's a 1-1 here to Cooper Weiss. And Brokman's up and running. McNiss's throw bounces into second, not in time. Brokman will swipe third as that gets away from McNamara. You saw McNamara swipe at the throw from McNiss, which was on the left side of the bag. So really the only play that McNamara had, the only chance he had at getting Brokman out was having a very quick swipe at the throw, and it got away from the infield, and Brokman popped right up and took third. So now the count's 1-2. Brokman 90 feet away, and an insurance run for the RedHawks. And the slider from Benny Roebuck is fouled back. And we had a talk here in the press box, in between innings about the pitch mix of Benny Roebuck. It looked like when he was warming up last inning, he was kind of trying to find his groove. Now throwing low 90s, 90 to 92, and the breaking ball, he shows two of them. One sits right in the low 70s and the other in the mid to upper 70s as Cooper Weiss hits one off the end of the bat in the left field, and Miami adds on to their lead. It's now 7-3.
Number 29, David Novak.
Third RBI of the game for Cooper Weiss. And we'll see David Novak. I'll tell you what, when you draw up the lineup to begin the day, when you're Coach Danny Hayden and you put Benji Brokman followed by Cooper Weiss, you imagine just what you've seen today as Roebuck plunks David Novak, who is showing bunt. Weiss running on the pitch, but he'll take second base easily on the dead ball.
Now, number 36, Nate Stone.
So Nate Stone steps in. We've talked about his woes at the plate this season. His batting average coming into today, 138. 58 at-bats coming in today, 8 hits, 8 RBIs. They put him in the cleanup spot today because he has been seeing the ball better, had a triple against Ohio State earlier this week. Stone was an everyday player 2 seasons ago, was hurt at the very beginning of the 2022 season, and is still working his way back into the everyday lineup. And nothing says getting back in the everyday lineup like getting some insurance against the league-leading Golden Flashes. Roebuck pulls the string on a changeup that is at the top of the zone. I think it confused Stone more than anything else as he took quite a bit of velocity off for that changeup. So the 1-2. Taken out of the zone. Weiss out at second, Novak at first. Nate Stone with nobody away, seeing the 2-2, and he'll chase. Going down swinging. Second strikeout of the ball game. He's now 0 for 3. Been the 28th strikeout of the season for Stone. And a big out for Kent State, but they're not out of the woods yet as Rylan Zaborowski steps up. 14 home runs. Has not registered today. 0 for 0, 3 walks. Has hit 2 home runs in the last week. 1 against Ohio and 1 against Ohio State. That home run was his only hit of the series against OU. And he went hacking at the 1-0. Yeah, Zaborowski was 1 for 12 against OU. Strikes out quite a bit, 44 strikeouts on the season. Second on the team, only trailing Zach McDonald. The 1-1. In there for a called strike, 90 on the gun, so Zaborowski finds himself in a well. He's dealt with a few injuries this year, concussion. Saw a late scratch earlier this year here at the home park where thought he might have broke his hand. He came off the bench and hit a home run in that ball game. The 1-2. Fouled straight back right on the fastball. We'll see if Roebuck breaks something off here on the 1-2. Benny comes sets. Kicks. Deals. Heater. Froze Zaborowski as he just nicks the corner for back-to-back strikeouts. So Miami plated a run at the top of the inning, still had runners on first and second, but Roebuck comes back and gets back-to-back strikeouts. So there's 2 away, 2 on, and the left-handed swinging Brian Zapp steps in. He singled his last trip. Zapp, a senior from Ontario, Canada. Started in 50 games last year. Zapp, who has been a utility man for the RedHawks throughout his career, playing infield, played in the outfield, moved wherever they need him to be. Had 3 hits in the 4-game series against Kent State last year. Foul tipped. And that 4-game series went 3 for 14. Can't get Zapp to chase as Roebuck misses up. The 2-2. Missing in the turf. Out at second base, Cooper Weiss thought about moving up an extra 90, but stays put as a nice job by Mickness. Keeping the ball in front of him. Caught that kind of unorthodox. Scooped it up with his mitt facing down. Didn't get it with his body. So the runners will be moving on the 3-2. The payoff. Out to left center field. Going to be a tough play coming in is Josh Johnson. He can't get there in time. It bounces away from Johnson. Rounding third and heading for home is David Novak. 2-run score on the bloop base knock. Score now 9-3 as Miami has plated 2 runs, or 3 runs rather, in the inning. And what a job by Zapp, hitting them where they ain't, right in between McNamara and Josh Johnson. The runners moving on the 3-2. Cooper Weiss would have scored regardless, but the ball bounces away from Johnson after it hits off the turf, spinning away from the left fielder. And Novak, who never stopped, kept the foot on the gas, and he has played it as well. So now Zach McDonald with a chance to add on as he offers at the 1-0 breaking ball. Gets barely a piece of it. Roebuck checks on Zapp out at second, and it's worth noting that Zapp leads the team in stolen bases, 12 for 15 on the year. Miami not afraid to try and take third base even with 2 outs, disobeying the Cardinal rule. As Roebuck will get McDonald to go down swinging. Third time McDonald has gone down on strikes today. We head to the 7th inning. Miami tacks on 3 more runs. They're up 9-3 here in Oxford. 9-3 our score. Miami, 8 hits as opposed to the 3 from Kent State. Connor Oliver back out for another inning of work. He'll face off against Jake Casey in the top half of the order. You see the lineup right in front of you? Now, if you've caught on to a Love and Honor broadcast before, Miami fan, you've seen this story before. Connor Oliver, strong through 6 innings, goes out on the mound to try and get through 7 strong. He has been unable to do that this season. We mentioned that. His season log, the longest he's gone in a game, has been 6 2/3. That was against Western Michigan back on April 1. As Jake Casey flares one out to Dylan Baker, who can't make the play on the run. So a leadoff base runner for Kent State, and this isn't typically how it goes. Leadoff base runner comes on. They tried Connor Oliver out for 1 or 2 more batters before going to the pen, and it is worth mentioning. I said Hudson Leach unavailable, so a little bit short-staffed in the bullpen is Miami, so they might be asking these starters to go just a few more innings. Lawson Blackmore warming up in the pen for the RedHawks, but back to the top of the order we go in the form of Kyle Jackson. And Oliver has had Jackson's number today. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts. They officially give a hit to Jake Casey's last at-bat. Cutter runs away from Jackson. Worth mentioning, Oliver has lost about 3 miles of velocity on that cutter. Comes into this batter right at the century mark. 100 pitches as he gets behind. But yes, 5 of the previous 6 outings for Connor Oliver. He's gone at least 6 innings, but he has been unable to get any number 7 under his belt. 6 innings against Toledo, 6 against Northern Illinois, 6 1/3 against Bowling Green, 6 2/3 against Western Michigan, then 6 last week against OU. Is today the day he finally puts a 7 in the game log? As Kyle Jackson sends one out to right center field, Benji Brokman on the run at the warning track makes the play. What a swing from Kyle Jackson, but the speedy Brokman closed the gap and gets the first out. That's baseball right there. Jake Casey off the end of the bat barely hits one out to second base. That's a base hit. Kyle Jackson puts one on a line out to right center field, and it's an out. That's why you play the game. .99 off the bat from Kyle Jackson. But Brokman able to close it down for the first out. So we'll see Colin Matthews, who came around and scored back in the 5th inning on the leadoff double. He's also struck out twice. Finding the strike zone, works to his pitch of choice. That's that cutter. Sent out to left field, running out of steam as Brian zaps underneath it for the second out. Had the angle and looked like it might have been sent for a ride, but just didn't have enough behind it.
Number 6,
as
Justin
Zap puts the squeeze
McNess.
on for the second out. So now the 3-hole, Justin McNess. 0 for 3. First pitch swing, and Dylan Baker not off the line. Yeah, they will say he caught it off the line. Baker down to a knee, catches the ball. And Connor Oliver, for the first time this season, goes 7 innings strong. 9-3, it's stretch time. Out here at McKee Field, you're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. (9-3) our score here, midway through the 7th inning. Miami RedHawks on top of the MAC leading Kent State Golden Flashes. I'm Ray Mouse here watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. If you haven't done already, please help us out. Subscribe, like the stream, hit that notification bell. It'll let you know when Game 2 of this series goes off.
Number 21, Dylan Baker.
Dylan Baker, Evan Applewick in the top half of Miami's lineup is due up. So we're midway through the 7th. Let's give you a quick recap on how we got here. Miami scored 2 runs on the home run from Cooper Weiss back in the 1st inning, a 4-run spot back in the 3rd. 3 of those 4 runs came after an error from Kent State, and then they tagged on 3 runs last inning. Kent State on the other end scored 2 in the 4th, 1 in the 5th, as Connor Oliver has been masterful, only allowing 4 hits in the ball game. We'll see if he comes back out in the 8th inning, as he had a very strong 7th. It's the longest he's gone this season. Baker on the evening, I guess on the day, 1 for 2. Walked, singled, struck out. Benny Roebuck back in another inning of relief work as he tries to get Dylan Baker to chase at the slider, working away from the right-handed hitter. Baker wasn't an everyday player to begin this season, but has earned his keep in the starting lineup. Hits one out to Kyle Jackson on the ground. Jackson fields it cleanly, throws it over to Longwell for the first out. 5-3 put out.
16, Evan Applewick.
Third time this ball game that Kent State has retired the leadoff batter. But they've only gotten the second batter out, the first 2 batters out rather, once this ball game. So a chance to do that against Evan Applewick, who's 0 for 3. Applewick lines one out to right field. On the warning track is Jake Casey, but he'll have it for the second out. Hit on a line, but right at the right fielder. Applewick will be 0 for 4, and there's 2 away here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Great swing by the starting third baseman, but it's all for naught. And we'll see Benji Brokman already with 2 base knocks in the ball game. 2 for 3, a strikeout, a walk, 2 singles, 2 runs scored. Stole second base his last time. And then the throw that skipped into center field allowed him to move to third. Brokman second on the team coming into today in batting average, so he will only help his own case. Takes the 2-0 for a called strike. Benny Roebuck, over 40 pitches in relief work. Had to work long in the 6th inning when he gave up 3 runs. They're seeing the ball well against the right-hander from Texas. 2-2. Called strike 3. Brokman goes down on strikes, so it's a 1-2-3 bottom half of the 7th. We head to the 8th. Miami 6 outs away from taking Game 1 against the Golden Flashes.
Miami University.
To the top of the 8th we go. 9-3 our score. Miami on top of the Golden Flashes. And a new arm. Lawson Blackmore will come in relief of Connor Oliver as Oliver's book is closed. 4 hits given up. 3 runs, one of which earned. Goes for his longest outing of the season of 7 innings. Blackmore, his 9th appearance on the year, has an ERA of 6.91, a whip of 1.53. He's thrown 14 innings, 25 strikeouts, 9 walks. So striking out nearly 2 batters an inning is Blackmore, but hasn't had a whole lot of work, most of which is happening midweek. He'll face off against the middle of this Kent State lineup. Aiden Longwell, Michael McNamara, and Mac Timbrook. Aiden Longwell, 2 for 2 with a sacrifice fly, 2 singles, and I was gawking at his game log as of late. Also pitches for the Golden Flashes from time to time. But we mentioned 3 hits against Tiffin University earlier this week. He had 8 hits in the series against Akron, in which they were only able to get him out twice. In the midweek game before the series against Akron, he went 3 for 4. In the series against Bowling Green, he went 4 for 10. So just seeing the ball very well and could be the MAC Player of the Year when the season is all said and done. But Lawson Blackmore's ahead 0-2 on the left-handed swinging Longwell. Blackmore comes set, takes a breath, tries the fastball on the outside. 93 on the gun. Blackmore, who's spent his whole career here at Miami University, a senior, 6'5", 205 pounds. Gets a swing from Longwell, who was right on it, but fouls it out of play. Struck out the side in his inning of work earlier this week against Ohio State. That was a marathon game. Tries to get Longwell to chase on the heater up. The 2-2. Swinging strikeout for Blackmore to begin things here in the top half of the 8th, and that's a big out number 1 for the senior. Blackmore against Michael McNamara. First pitch in there for a called strike. So we mentioned he's pitched a lot midweek this season for Miami. Had a tough outing last weekend against OU. Miami entered the bottom of the 8th up 10-3. Blackmore came in relief, gave up 6 earned runs, only getting 2 outs in a game where OU won 13-10. 0-2 sent out to left center field. McDonald in on the run, loses his hat, but finds the baseball for the second out.
Mac Timbrook.
So 2 away. And it's Mac Timbrook. Timbrook 0 for 3. First pitch swinging, might have a play on it. Evan Applewick working over towards Miami's dugout underneath it for the third out. A 1-2-3 8th inning for Lawson Blackmore against the middle of Kent State's lineup. We head to the bottom of the 8th, where the RedHawks are going to look to get some insurance runs before they close the door on the Flashes. Stay tuned. You're watching Love and Honor Live. Bottom of the 8th, the RedHawks on top, 9-3. We're at McKee Field at Hayden Park. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. I'm Reed Mouse. I'll take you through the rest of this one and the next game. I'll be back here tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. 2, 3, and 4 are due up for Miami here in the bottom of the 8th inning when they look to get in some insurance. Cooper Weiss, he's been a thorn in the Golden Flashes side, 2 for 3 on the day, has scored 3 times, including a home run, which got Miami started all the way back in the first inning. Miami, who's 11-28 on the season, has been playing much better ball, and that is undisputed as of late. Now, they haven't been on the winning side of many of the games recently, but played a very competitive series against OU, which you can argue that they should have swept. Lost a game in extra innings, lost that game that I alluded to earlier, which they were up 10-3 in the 8th inning, and then won a game 12-10. Had a back-and-forth affair against Ohio State at the midweek this Tuesday.
Coming to the plate, number 29.
And Benny Roebuck walks
David
Cooper Weiss
Novak.
to allow Weiss to reach base for the 4th time today. And a big piece of why Miami is playing better, though, the bats have started to awaken. And it really has started at the middle of the order. You mentioned Cooper Weiss, Benji Brokman, David Novak, all playing better ball. And up and running on the first pitch and sliding into second base easily is Cooper Weiss. He'll now go to third on the throw that goes into the outfield. Second time that Miami has gone first to third today. McNiss's throw bouncing in front of second. Pitch misses low and in. And they'll go out and talk to Roebuck. So Roebuck, who came in relief
and we're the 3 best friends that
for Crookshank,
we're the 3 best friends that
has been on the bump ever since. On the game already has allowed 2 earned runs, struck out 4, walked 1, given up 3 hits. Right at the 50 mark on the pitch count. So golden opportunity for Miami to add on to their lead. as the 2-0 misses. It's now 3-0. Novak takes a 3-0 for a called strike, seeing it all the way into the glove. He had a single back in the third inning, came around and scored. He scored twice this ball game. 1 for 3. Sits in a great hitter's count. But he'll take first base on the walk. Third time reaching a board today.
Nate Stone.
And that will do it for Benny Roebuck. So he'll face off against Nate Stone, or the new arm will face off against Nate Stone here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Runners on the corner, nobody away. We're going to step aside. We'll tell you about the new arm when we come back here on Love and Honor Live. Welcome back. Bottom of the 8th inning. We'll see the red shirt freshman take the bump for Kent State. It's Jaden Varner. Varner on the season. This will be his 14th appearance, a 6.35 ERA, 11 1/3 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts, 8 walks. He'll face off against a new batter. It won't be Nate Stone. It'll be Billy Kopicki. So they go lefty against the left-handed batter, Nate Stone, and the game of chess continues as Coach Hayden puts in Billy Kopicki. So we'll see a pinch hitter and a new pitcher. Varner, 84 to 88 on the fastball. Fastball slider mix, 75 to 80 on the breaking stuff. Misses on the first pitch. Here's the 1-0 as Kopicki shows bunt. Kopicki, this will be his just 3rd at-bat on the season. It looks like he might be attempting to give himself up. Tries to push it down the first base line to bring in the run, some insurance. Can never have too much. Up 6 runs, they want more here, and can't blame him. Varner, 5'11", 175 pounds from Wooster, Ohio. 2-1. They check on the runner over at first. It's David Novak. Novak is a catcher, but he's 4 for 5 on stolen bases this season. We saw him score all the way from first on a bloop single. The bunt out to Varner. There's going to be a play at the plate, but Varner opts to go to first instead. Mickness said he didn't want to try the out at home. They probably could have got a throw in time to beat out Cooper Weiss, but instead they take the sure thing out at first base, and there's one away for Ryland Zaborowski. So the squeeze works, a 1-3 putouts. Cooper Weiss comes in. It's 10-3, and Zaborowski who's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Hammers one out to left field. This has a chance. He'll look up and goodbye. Zaborowski, home run number 15. He'll touch them all.
15th round tripper of the season.
As number 15 gets 15.
Another left field tavern home run.
108 off the bat. The ball traveled 379.
Left field tavern, proud sponsor of Miami.
That was a laser, folks.
Next to bat for the Hawks, number 6, Brian.
No hang time whatsoever as Zaborowski punishes the pitch from Jaden Varner, and the RedHawks are up 9. Zap falls behind 0-2. Called strike 3, so a 3-pitch at bat to Zap. Will be the second out of the inning.
19, Zach McDonald.
So assuming, which probably isn't the case, but 15 home runs for Rylan Zaborowski will put him up on 14 in the country coming into today. McDonald beats one out to McNamara, who throws it across the diamond for a 6-3 putout. But Miami tacks on 3 more runs. They're up 12-3 over the Golden Flashes. 3 outs away from taking game 1 here in Oxford. To the top of the 9th we go. 12-3 our score. You see the stat line in front of you. Due up for Kent State. 7-8-9 loss in Blackmore after a strong 8th inning. We'll go back out to shut the door here on game 1. Miami got 3 runs of insurance in the 8th inning, 2 coming off the bat of Rylan Zaborowski. 15th home run on the season. Thank you for joining in. Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports. I'm Reed Mouse. We're at McKee Field at Hayden Park.
Josh Johnson.
Miami looking to knock off the top team in the conference for game 1. Off a strong start from Connor Oliver, and the bats coming alive. Hanging 3 different innings of 3+ runs. First pitch swinging out is Josh Johnson. Defensive substitution for Miami as Dom Magliacca comes into right field for Benji Brokemond. Johnson 0 for 2. Walked back in the 4th inning. Swinging strike. Got a piece of it, Johnson did. Winds up in Novak's glove all the same. It's 0-2. Another curveball. Johnson offers, just getting a piece of it, tickling the hairs off the leather of the ball. Stays alive for another pitch. Blackmore comes set. Swinging strikeout for out number 1, 2 away from the win.
22, Brody Williams.
So we'll see Brody Williams. Williams has reached a board twice, once on a walk. Reached a board on that error back in the 4th inning. A sloppy game defensively for the two teams, 5 errors combined. Blackmore misses the first pitch to Williams. Check swing. Sapphire said yes. Williams did come around. 1-1 now the count. Popped. Fouling out of play. And Zaborowski doesn't even give chase. So going back to that home run from Zaborowski, his 15th of the season. That'll put him a dead heat tie for 14th with about 8 different players. It's worth mentioning that only 4 players in the country have hit more than 17 home runs this year. The 2-2. Swinging strikeout. 2 up, 2 down here in the 9th inning. Blackmore came into today striking out 25 batters in 14 innings. He's got 3 strikeouts and 5 outs faced.
Coming to the plate now, number 11, Colton Schaller.
So we'll see a pinch hitter for Jake Casey. It's the left-handed swinging Colton Schaller. Schaller in charge of jump-starting a rally that can plate 9 runs here with 2 outs on the board. First pitch, check swing, bounced over to Evan Applewick. He'll throw it across the diamond. And the RedHawks take game number 1 out here in Oxford. 12-3 our final score. First pitch was at 12:02, so the game time is 2 hours and 34 minutes. Miami scores 2 runs in the first, 4 in the third, 3 in each of the 6th and 8th inning. Kent State plays 2 runs in the 4th, 1 and the 5th. Connor Oliver will get the win. Cruikshank with the loss. We'll be back in about a half hour. Turn on that notification bell if you haven't already, and we'll let you know when we go live here. But that does it from us out here in Oxford for Game 1. Game 2, well, just a few minutes away. Stay tuned. You're watching Love and Honor Live here on Chatterbox Sports.